Avoid moving to Marietta, Georgia unless you can handle this. In today's video, we're going to talk about the 10 things that you need to know that if you can't handle, you might not want to live in Marietta, Georgia. So let's get to the 10 things right now. Hello friends, and welcome to my Living in Marietta, Georgia channel. If you're new to this channel, it's all about what it's really like to live, eat, sleep, play in Marietta, Georgia, and everything in between. And if you're not new here, welcome back. Please hit the like button so others can find this video more easily, and hit the subscribe button and tap the bell so you get notified each time I upload a new video. My name's Dan Hilsman. I'm a real estate broker, and we get so many calls from people reaching out to us about their move to Marietta, Georgia and surrounding areas, and we absolutely love it. And you can get a hold of me too. So if you want to talk, give me a call, send me a text, an email, or skip all that and go straight to the front line by scheduling a Zoom call using the calendar link in the description below. However you want to get a hold of me, I've got your back when making your move to Marietta, Georgia and surrounding areas. Number one, the houses are on small lots. So if you want a home, now not all the houses, but most all the houses are on small lots. And I mean, some of them are on pretty darn small lots, like an eighth of an acre, sometimes a quarter of an acre. So the houses being on a small lot, you know, you're right next to your neighbors. Sometimes on some of the houses you walk off your front porch and you can see all of your neighbors. So you can see the whole street sometimes. So there are a few pockets and a few neighborhoods, mostly the older ones, that have houses on 1 acre. There's a few on 5. There's houses that you can own that are not in neighborhoods that are on big plots of land. But if you're wanting to live in a neighborhood in Marietta, Georgia, most of the houses are on super small lots. So if that's not for you, probably don't want to consider Marietta, Georgia. You want to go a little bit farther out. There's some cities near there that have bigger lots and not nearly as congested, but super small lots for the most part, quarter acre to half acre in Marietta, Georgia. Number 2, HOAs. So in a lot of these neighborhoods, we have strict HOAs, and the HOAs have a lot of control. So the good news is the houses are well taken care of, the yards look great, but there are a lot of rules that go with the HOAs. So, you know, if you don't want someone sending you a letter or fining you for your Pine Island having too many weeds in it, or if you continuously park your car in the street and have kids that park their cars in the street, and you don't want to have letters or concerns with that. If you're someone who likes to work on a car and put a car up in a yard, you know, you can't do things like that. You also have to ask for permission to have color changes to the homes in most of the neighborhoods. So pretty strict HOA. That's got its upside and it's got its downside. The downside being, you know, a lot of rules and regulation. The upside is it does help with the uniformity of the neighborhoods, and it does help to maintain and keep your property values up. But something to consider is how much you want an HOA to interaction with. And if that's something you can't handle, probably don't want to live in most of the neighborhoods in Marietta, Georgia. Number 3, mosquitoes. Marietta, Georgia has lots and lots of mosquitoes, and also a lot of other bugs too. So if you're not used to having bugs in and around the yard, and sometimes in the house, because you open the door and sometimes they'll get in. But if mosquitoes, we have fairly large roaches in Marietta, Georgia area, and just a lot of other bugs. We are down in the south. We do have a lot of bugs. We have a lot of wasps. We have hornets. We have yellow jackets, you know, bees, a lot of flies. Sometimes we have the big house flies that you'll see. But the mosquitoes in particular are pretty bad in different parts of the year. In the summer, especially if you live close to a body of water, they can be a problem. Now, the good news there is we do have pest companies that will come out and they'll spray your home, but they also spray your yard and put up a barrier in the yard for mosquitoes and for insects. So like myself, we have monthly pest control that's around the house on the exterior, but it's also, you know, it's also for the interior of the house. And then if it's really bad, if you have a mosquito problem in the yard, then you can pay extra to have like a mosquito prep for the yard where it does keep that down. So there are solutions, but just to let you know, like my son in college, he's actually not in Marietta, but he's close by, and it's kind of funny. Some of the kids, when they come from out of town, you know, they're super surprised by the amount of bugs and also spiders. So probably once a month, you know, my wife or daughter will say, hey, come get this spider out of the garage, or get this spider off the front porch. So if you're not used to having lots of bugs, could be a problem for you. But the good news is we do have pest control companies that do a good job keeping those away. But, you know, when you're out and about or out with picnics, you know, probably need a lot of spray or something to keep some of the bugs and the mosquitoes away. Number 4 reason to avoid living in Marietta, Georgia, if you can't handle this, is the amount of congestion in and around, just going from place to place. So, you know, we are close to Atlanta. There is a lot of traffic. There's people everywhere. So the roads are congested. And you'll want to be aware of that. If you're considering living in Marietta, Georgia, you're not really just going to get in your car and drive without seeing some congestion from place to place. Congestion is a big problem. You want to probably time what time of the day you leave to go places. If you can't do that, then you probably have to leave a little bit early. So number 5 is people everywhere. So lots and lots of people, you know, high dense population in the Marietta, Georgia area. And if you're not used to bumping into people, seeing people, having lines in the grocery store, not usually a line at the gas station, but you know, there's always people there. But now, as far as a lot of people go, there are certain pockets in Marietta, Georgia that you can be a little bit farther away from the congestion and a little bit farther away from the super small neighborhoods where lots and lots of people. So if that's the case, and you love and want to be in Marietta, Georgia, but you're concerned with that, reach out to me. I do know a few neighborhoods and a few pockets kind of on the outskirts that'll get you a little bit farther away from that. That way, at least you won't be right in the middle of it. So let's look at number 6. Before we get to number 6, stick around to number 10. Number 10 is probably going to surprise you if you know a little bit about Marietta, Georgia, with the amount of people and how close it is to Atlanta. So number 10 is a little bit of a surprise. But number 6 is the humidity. So just a problem in the summer, but we're talking hot and humid. So this is not a dry heat. This is the kind of heat where, you know, if you're sitting outside, you might have some sweat dripping and, you know, you reach and your back is a little bit wet. We're talking humid. So hot and humid for the most part all summer long. Super high percentage rate for the humidity when you watch the weather. You know, sometimes I grew up and lived in this area for a long time, so I'm even surprised when I hear the percentage of humidity that there is. But we're talking hot and humid. That's why there's lots of pools and lots of lakes. Most all the homes have central AC. You know, so if that's a problem for you, a lot of people will stay indoors most of the summer. You know, and if you like the outdoors, it's mostly a spring and a fall time if you're trying to get away from the heat and humidity. Number 7 is little to no snow. So if you love snow, you're not going to get much snow at all in Marietta, Georgia. Now there's a few years just here and there where we'll have several inches, but generally speaking, we're talking a couple of days of maybe light flurries with no sticking, maybe a day or two per summer. This is on average, where there'll be a ½ inch or a ¼ inch. Sometimes it'll stick around for a whole day. A lot of times it might be ½ inch in the morning and it's mostly melted by late afternoon. Also, another thing with the little snow, when there is snow, you know, since we're not really used to it here, the roads are, the place, people go to the store and they buy all the bread and the milk, and it's just crazy because you know it's only gonna last for half a day, but kind of extreme and people aren't really used to it. But if you like snow, if you like getting out in the snow, if you like being part of the snow on a regular basis in the winter, not happening in Marietta, Georgia, have to get in your car, go a couple hours north and kind of plan that out with the weather. There is one ski place in Georgia north of Marietta, probably hour and a half-ish away, and 2 to 3 hours you can be in some pretty nice ski slopes in parts of North Carolina, but very little snow. So let's look at number 8. Number 8 is the traffic. If you can't handle lots and lots of traffic, then Marietta, Georgia might not be a great place for you to live. Now, Marietta also is close to 285, which is a highway that goes all the way around the perimeter of Atlanta. So the good news is, you know, you can get to different highways to get from where you need to go rather quickly, relatively speaking, with the traffic. But even when you leave your neighborhood on the 2-lane and 4-lane roads, you know, there's a lot of traffic. So recently I was on a trip in New York. It's kind of exciting that when I had to go somewhere 45 minutes away, southwest New York, away from the city, when I had to go somewhere about 45 minutes away, you know, I could leave 45 minutes before I needed to be there and put it in my Garmin, you know, or not Garmin, put it in MapQuest, not MapQuest, put it in Waze before I left. And, you know, I knew that I didn't really need to leave early. There was no traffic. But in Marietta, if I had to go 45 minutes away, I'd probably leave an hour early because I don't know what kind of traffic I'm going to hit. I wouldn't know if there was road construction that day or not that day. Traffic. If you're not a big fan of traffic, if you don't like the uncertainty of how long it's going to take to get from place to place, Marietta, Georgia, you might not can handle that. You might not want to live in Marietta, Georgia. Number 9 is if you can't handle leaving early to get to everywhere you're going to go, if you have to be on time, might not want to live in Marietta, Georgia. So the leaving early part kind of goes along with the congestion and the traffic, but I'm not kidding. If you have to be somewhere, like I had a boss once that have to be here at 9 and you can't come late and there's traffic. You know, newsflash, there's going to be traffic. So when you get here, you can't use traffic as an excuse. So sometimes I would be there 20, 30 minutes, 15, 30 minutes early because I knew I couldn't be late. And if I couldn't be late, then I couldn't leave on time to get there because there'd be uncertainty amount of traffic and, you know, crashes or roadblocks or construction. So if you can't handle leaving a little bit early or the uncertainty of knowing exactly what time to leave to get to work or to get to wherever you have to go or get your kids to daycare or pick up your kids from daycare, or I can tell you stories about rushing. I have an appointment to hurry up to get my kids at the bus stop because maybe it was that day, you know, my wife and I were juggling appointments or juggling who picked up the kids, having to be at the bus stop at a certain time to get the, you know, so that was a situation where I couldn't leave right on time. I had to leave pretty early to make sure I got there. So if you can't handle leaving early to get to where you need to go, because if you can't be late, then you're going to have to leave a good bit early. If you can't handle that, Marietta, Georgia might not be the place for you. Now, if that is, but if the area is about right, there's a few cities a little bit farther north and a little bit farther east that we could get you into that are nice, that you won't have quite as big a deal with the having to leave early to get from place to place. So if that's your case, you know, reach out to me. I know Metro Atlanta area, all of Metro Atlanta area very well, and I can help you find those pockets of those areas that might be a better fit for you. But if we're talking Marietta, Georgia, and you can't handle leaving a little bit early to go wherever you have to go because you have to be on time, Marietta, Georgia might not be a good fit for you. So now let's look at number 10. Number 10 is the wildlife. Now, Marietta, Georgia is only about 30 to 40 minutes outside of downtown Atlanta. So I was surprised and still am surprised when every now and then the wife would say, hey, you know, I just saw on the neighborhood bulletin there's coyotes in the neighborhood. And we've had cats over the years and I've had dogs. So, you know, sometimes get your animals in because there's coyotes in the neighborhood. Now, it doesn't happen a whole lot and it's quite as much as it did maybe 10 years ago, but it's still happening even to this day. 2022 is when I'm doing this video. So coyotes, not a lot of them, but they are here and there. And, you know, still I see deer probably twice a month, at least once a month, because we still do have a lot of woods. So a lot of woods in the area. So, you know, if you have a lot of woods, you have wildlife. And I'm talking, and also raccoons. Probably twice a year, we'll hear of a report of a bear. So I've not seen a bear personally, but I've heard, you know, many reports of bears. So if you're not, you know, looking forward to seeing a little bit of wildlife, and the deer aren't a problem except for if they run out in front of your car, because they do damage the car if you hit a deer. But if you're not looking forward to some wildlife with some coyotes, some raccoons, maybe a bear, and definitely deer that you have to slow down a little bit from time to time to let pass through the road, then Marietta, Georgia might not be a fit for you. Have to get you a little closer into the city. And maybe on the outskirts of the city to get away from some of that. Like I said, it's not a big problem, but it is out there. Remember once I was showing a lady a nice home with a nice deck that overlooked, and behind at the edge of her lot was a lot of woods. And she said, what's in those woods? And I kind of looked at her and I said, well, you know, we have animals out there. And she said, bear? And I'm like, yeah, it could be, probably not, but there could be one. But definitely deer, raccoons. You know, she asked about snakes. We have lots of snakes. We are here in the South. So if wildlife is something you're concerned about, probably not Marietta. Need to get you a little bit closer in. You can reach out to me for that as well. So hope you liked my video on the 10 things if you can't handle, you don't want to live in Marietta, Georgia. You know what I'm going to do too on my next video, I'll go over some of the the 5 best neighborhoods to live in Marietta, Georgia. And I hope you can check out those videos there. My name's Dan Hilsman. I am a real estate broker. I love helping people with their move to Marietta, Georgia and surrounding areas. If you have any questions, you can get a hold of me. Give me a call, send me a text, email, or skip all that and go straight to the front line by scheduling a Zoom call using the calendar link in the description below. However you want to get a hold of me, I have your back when making a move to Marietta, Georgia and surrounding areas. And hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.